Welcome back to another episode, and on today's episode I'm going to do some tuning. So I'm just going to show you how I tune the treble side. So the treble side's got two sets of reeds. So one set of reeds is tuned to A440 and the second set of reeds is tuned higher than A440 to give the tremolo. So the first thing I want to do is to check the tuning of the reeds that are tuned to A440. So on my reed block just here, I've tested which ones are the A440 reeds, and I just mark that with an L, and then the ones are higher pitched with a H, so that they've I can tell which is which. And to check the notes, what I've done, I'll just go down to my tuning bellows table. So here I've got some bellows underneath here going through a hole here, and I can play a note just by moving my knee on the bellows, and I can just hear that note, and on my little tuner on my phone I can work out which of the set of reeds is tuned to A440 and which is set to higher. So now I can manage that. So the next step, let me just bring the camera up so I can actually look into the camera. Here we go. The next step is to isolate the higher tuned set of reeds. And so the way I'm going to do that is to get some electrical tape, and I'm just going to tape off the holes going to the higher set of reeds, and then put the reed blocks back into the accordion, and then I can play the accordion, and I'll be able to just play the reeds tuned to A440. And what I'll do is then I'll tune those up. Once I've got those tuned up and checked for anything out of tune, I can then take the tape off and play the two notes together and measure the tremolo. So it's a bit of a two-step thing really. So first thing, I'm going to tape off the reeds. So all I need is some electrical tape, and make sure that I'm taping off the right side. And it's good to have electrical tape because it's not too sticky, so it will come off easily. And excuse my language there. There we go. There we are. So I've taped off that one, and I'll do the same thing for the second set of reeds. And then I'll put these reed blocks back in. So here we are. So that one's taped off as well. So I'll put these back in, and then I'll show you, excuse me, I'll play the accordion with just the single reeds tuned to A40 and show you what that sounds like. Right, let me just put it all back together. Okay, here we are. So this is the accordion with just the one set of reeds on the treble. And straight away I can hear a dead one. So that one you're looking at. So it's quite a sweet little sound. Obviously it sounds better with two, well I think it sounds better with two notes playing together, but it just sort of sounds nice. So let's show you how now I can tune this single set of reeds. So to do that, I'm going to change the camera angle a little bit so you can see my phone app. So let's see if I can do it like this. So I'll try and get me in a little bit, and I'll get the phone app. How's that? That's pretty good. And the other thing I need is a notebook. Get my notebook. Where's my notebook? Oh, I'm going to fall over now. Get my notebook. I'll get my pencil. Now, so to do this, I'm going to have to make notes on every note on the treble side. So I'm just going to make sure I know which side I'm doing. So this is treble side A440, so I know which reeds I'm actually testing here. So what I can do now is if I play a note, I can see on my chromatic tuner how close that is to the pitch that it should be with the A440 as a reference. So let's just choose a G right in the middle here. Now that G on the pull was completely spot on to on the tuner on G. Now if I do the push, and I would say that that G on the pull is fine. On the push, it was flat, but very, very slightly. So what I can do is I can make I give it a grade. So if it's only a tiny bit flat, I do a grade between 0 and 5. So if it's a tiny bit flat, I'm just going to say flat by a half. It's hardly anything. So that, and if it's a long way, then I'll go up to 5. So I've got about 10 steps. So I can grade how far off the tuning it is by giving it a number. And on the tuner, there's little gradations between B and B flat, and so that helps me to work out how far off it is. And then when I come to tune it, what I will do is I will change the tuning of that reed. So the G push reed, which is going to be an outside reed, is going to be sharpened by a smidge. Now how much that smidge is just a question of experience. So the more you do it, the more you kind of get a feel for how much scratching and filing you do, and because I've done it dozens and dozens of times, it gives me a little bit of an advantage over people who have only done it a few times. So the best advice is do a little bit and check, and then go back and do a bit more. So rather than doing too much but you then have to reverse, just do a little bit and check the tuning again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all the notes on the treble side, the white notes and the black notes, and I'm going to play them using my app on my phone. It's just a tuner app. I'm going to make notes for all the white and black notes and where those notes are in terms of the pitch they should be, and then once I've got that little chart or page written out, I can then take the reed blocks out and then I can do some tuning. So it's a two-step process. So what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to go through my white and black keys on this treble side, make my notes, and then I'll go from there. So I'll show you when I've done the notes. Okay, so that's my tuning notes. It's actually remarkably good. So it's just small little deviations from the tuning. So that's my notes ready. So I'm going to leave those ready. I'm going to now take the reed blocks back out and I'll show you my tuning tools. So just give me a tick. Okay, so the reed blocks are out. I've got the tape on. I'm just going to show you my tools for tuning. Here we go. So I've got a little box with my tools in. To show you what I've got. So I've got some little tiny files. So these are diamond files, tiny ones. And these is what I used. These are what I use for filing the tip of a reed to sharpen it. So just a little nice set of small diamond files. I've got a few more in here as well, just some of my favourite ones. So there we are, just a few more kicking about. I've got this, which is one of my most important tools, and this is used for lifting up a reed from the inside. So when I poke it through, I can actually lift up a reed from the inside, and then I can do my sharpening or flattening. If I just turn it around this way, you might see it a bit better. Here you go. So I can lift the reed up and then just pull the valve back and do some sharpening or flattening on there. So that's that tool. I've got a little clean little craft knife, and this is very good for supporting an outside reed, so that if I just show you this, like so, and then if I'm doing any filing or scratching, it supports it as I'm doing it, so it doesn't get bent and pushed down into the slot. So that's really important. One of those. What else have I got? I've got some scratchers, and these are for making scratches on the reeds, particularly for flattening a reed. And what these are mini like micro drills. They're tiny, and you know, they're millimetre or less than a mil. The smallest ones I can get, and these are really sharp and they're very good for scratching. So I've got a selection of these with different thicknesses, but they're all pretty small, so those are useful. I've got a rubber, and that's just used for cleaning off the diamond tip file. So once you get a bit rubby, just get rubber on there, just clean off any rubbish on the file. And I've got another little scratcher. Another little scratcher here with just a hardened steel scratch, but actually this doesn't work as well as just these little drills, so I prefer these. So that's my little tuning set. Nothing sensational, just basic tools, but having some fine diamond set files and some really fine drill bits are very useful. Craft knife, and then this is really useful for lifting up the reeds from the inside, this tool here. So that's really useful, and just a nice little box to put them in. So that's my tuning set. So I'm going to put that over here. And so what I'm going to do now is go through the reeds and do some tuning. So let me just get myself a bit more organised. Okay, so this is how I do it. First thing, then I'm going to start on the first tuning point on my pad, which is B1, the first B, and the pull was sharp by a half, just a little bit. So first we'll find the B, so it's going to be one of the first ones. So I'm just using my bellows thingy just to find the note, just using my knee to push. There you go. So I found my B. So now I've got the B, I now need to do the pull, which is the inside reed, and so I need to flatten it by just a smidge. So let's show you how I do this. A bit difficult on camera, but I'm going to push the little rod through here, lift up the reed, and then I'm going to choose a little trail bit. So I'll try and do this so you can see what I'm doing. Let's see if I can just make sure that's focused. There you go. I'm going to pull the valve back, and then I'm going to do some little scrapings just towards the top end of that reed, so not at the tip, somewhere between halfway and the top, and I'm just going to do some little scratches like that. That's probably enough, and then I can just pull the thing through there. And what I can do is I can play that reed again, and I can just have a look and see if it has changed a little bit. Now when you put the reed block back into the accordion, the acoustics will change, so I'm not tuning it from this bellows table onto the app. I'm doing it with the reeds in the accordion, because as soon as you put these back into the accordion, the pitch will change very, very slightly. So you want to, this is just, I'm using this bellows table really just to locate the notes that I'm going to be tuning. So that's how I sharpen that D. So I think that was all right. Now the D1, the flatten, sorry, the D1, I needed to flatten the push. So let's find D1. That's my D1. And so the push needs to be flattened. So let's show you how I do that. So let's just bring that down a little bit. Right, so D1, that one. So this time it's an outside reed. So I'm going to support it with my little knife, like so. I'm going to get my little scratcher, and again I'm going to make just a few little scratches, like that. I can remove the knife, and again I can just check it on here and just see if I have made a little bit of difference. And I think that would be probably quite good. Now it just comes with experience how much to scratch and everything else, but you just have to practice. So that was another one that I was flattening a little bit. So B2, I'm going to go to B2. It was flattening. It was flat, so I need to sharpen it. So B2, let's find B2. That one there. And I've now got to sharpen a reed rather than flattening it. So this is B2, the pull. So the inside reed needs sharpening. So let's show you how I do that. So got to expose, bring the reed up, pushing a little rod through. I'm going to pull back the valve, and then I'm going to go to the tip. And with my little tiny scraper, I'm going to take off a tiny bit of metal off the tip, and that was how I sharpen it. So that's the sharpening of an inside reed. If I've got to sharpen an outside reed, what I will do is support the reed, the blade, and either using a little scratcher like this, I could just take some metal off the tip, or I probably will get one of my little diamond tip files and very carefully just take a tiny bit off the tip. And so that's how I do my tuning of the reeds tuned to A440. So I'm going to go ahead and go around along my line and make these little changes, and then the next step after that is to put the reeds back in, play them again, and just see if I've done enough. Okay, so I'm going to start my tuning now, so I'll show you when I've finished and I've put them back in the accordion and can play them all. Okay, so I've done my first pass of tuning on the treble side reeds for the single M A440 tuned reeds. So next thing is put it back into the treble side, put it back together again and have a listen and play it again, keeping the tape on the tremolo reeds, play it again, have a look at the app and just see how well it sounds. So let me just put that back together and then I'll start to demonstrate how it sounds now I've done some tuning. Okay, so I've now done the reed box back in and I can have a listen to the treble side. It's a bit of a quiet one. That I'm going to just have a investigate of this D sharp on the push. It's actually just sounding a bit weak, so I'm going to make a note. D sharp 2 push check. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play these notes and have a look at my app as well, and I'm going to make a further series of notes. I've got one already, but I'm just going to find a blank page, make any final checks. It's sounding pretty nice, but there might be one or two that just need a small adjustment. So I'm just going to have a little listen. And that F on the push is also sounding a little bit weak. So actually I'll investigate that as well. Make sure it's not a valve issue. So this then, what I'll do now, then I'll make some notes and do some final tweaks, but it's sounding pretty nice. Maybe just a final, one or two reeds I might make a final adjustment to. But I won't film all that again because it'll be the same process, but just a tiny bit more. I'll just check these weak ones as well, F2 and the other one, which was whatever it was. So next step is to take the reeds out, do the adjustments, and then once I've done those and checked, the next step will be to take the tape off the reed blocks and then play the two sets of reeds together. So I'm going to make my little adjustments first, and then I'm going to take the tape off, put the reed blocks back in, and I'll play the accordion then. Okay, so give me a chance to get all right. Okay, so this is what it sounds like with both of the reeds playing together now. I'll do a little bit of Accordion fail. With the bass in as well. So it sounds really nice. So it's not perfect yet. There's a little tiny bit of work, but it sounds good, which is nice. Now I can hear that some of the tremolo is a bit too much, and I need to just make some adjustments. So now I'm going to show you how I make some adjustments to the tremolo. So I'm just going to change the camera angle again and show you how that works. Okay, so the next thing is to not be using the app on my phone to do the tuning. That was just for the A440 reed, but the next one is to now use Dirk's chromatic instrument tuner, which I've just got up on my laptop here. And on this app I can play two notes, so the two tremolo notes, and it will tell me the degree of difference between the two notes, and it will do that in cents, C-E-N-T-S. And once I can see the amount of difference in the two notes, I can adjust that difference. So for example, if say on a C there was too much tremolo, what I could do is reduce the amount of tremolo by flattening the tremolo reed a bit, so the difference between the A440 reed and the tremolo reed wasn't so great, so the tremolo wasn't so great, and so that would reduce the amount of tremolo, if you like. If there wasn't enough tremolo, enough difference between the two notes, then I could sharpen the tremolo reed, and then that would increase the amount of distance between the two notes, and that will give you more tremolo. So it's quite a simple thing. So what I have put into here is my settings. So on my settings, if I just go into settings, hopefully I can show that I'm going to settings. Up here I can put my desired amount of tremolo. So at C4, which is the first C, the lowest C, I want 15 cents of tremolo. And at C6, which is 2 up, so C5 so the top C on this one. I want 5 cents of tremolo, so what a kind of gradual scale from 15 at C4 to 5 at C6, and so that's programmed in. So if I just come out of that, so now when I play every note on my accordion, this app will know how much tremolo I want, and it will tell me how much there is, and it will tell me how much I need to change it by. So it's quite clever. So let me give you an example, and I'll show you how it works. So I'll leave that up, and if I just get the accordion again, so hopefully you can see. So I'll just leave the app so you can see it, and they'll just see me in the corner with my accordion. Oh, I need to get thinner because it's too tight. Oh my god. Right, so let's pick a note. Let's pick a C, because that's just nice and easy. So I'm going to pick C, the first C. Wait a minute. The first C, the lowest C. No, I won't pick that one. Let's put the lowest G. Okay, that's a bit easier to see. Right, so when I play that lowest G, on here it will tell me how much difference there is between the two notes. Let's have a go. Now, hang on a minute, I've got to set it to, hang on, I've got to set it to 2 tones, wait. I only had it set to listen to 1 tone, it's set to listen to 2 tones. Try it again. So on the pull, it was exactly spot on what I want, but on the push, do that again, it was 7 cents CEN too much. There's too much tremolo by 7 cents on the G on the push. And you can actually hear that as you play it. So what I would do now is go back in, and on the tremolo reed, I would, on the G on the push, which is the outside reed, I would then flatten that reed a little to reduce the pitch of that reed, and that will bring down the tremolo because it will be closer in pitch to the A440 tuned reed. And so that's how I tune the tremolo set. So I'd basically play all the notes, have a look on the app, and it will tell me how close I am to my desired tuning pattern, and it will tell me then if I need to flatten or sharpen a tremolo reed and by how much. And again, this is something that I have to just practice, and by practicing how much to scratch or file a reed to change the pitch of it a certain amount, and after a while you get quite good at judging it. But to start off with, it's simply a process of doing a little bit, checking and doing a bit more. So that's how I use the app. So what I'll do, I'll just show you that one there on the G, on the push. It was 7 cents too much. So what I'm going to do, I'll just take that reed out, and I'll just show you how I adjust it and then check the tremolo again. So I'll just do one reed, but in reality I would do all of them. Give me a second while I get... Okay, so I've got the reed block out, and that's the G. So I need to change the pitch of that G, that tremolo G, because the tremolo is too much. So on that tremolo G, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the pitch of that reed a little to bring the tremolo down a bit. So it needs to come by 7 cents. So I'm just going to get my little scratcher, and I'm just going to hold the reed like so, and I'm just going to then flatten that reed by doing a little bit of scratching between halfway in the rivet, just to bring that pitch down a touch. and then I'm going to put it back in and see how that sounds. So let me put it back in and then I'll see how. Okay, so if I play that G on the pull, that was fine anyway, and on the push, it sounds nice to me. It's actually maybe 1 or 2 cents still a bit too sharp or too much beating, but actually by listening to it, maybe I could do it a tiny little bit more and it'll bring it absolutely perfect, but it sounds nice. So that's just one. So I would go back and just make a tiny bit more to that, but that's just one reed, but normally I would do it for all the tremolo reeds at the same time. Now it's quite a lengthy process, and you have to go back and do things 2 or 3 times just to get it absolutely spot on. And so this is the way I do it. There are other ways of doing it, but this is the way that works for me, and I suppose I have got the privilege of having enough time to do it. It isn't my full-time job, so I can just do it as a really nice hobby, but obviously it does take a bit of time and patience to do this. So what I'll do next is tune up all the tremolo reeds, and then I can play all of the treble side with the treble side reeds tuned and the tremolo how I'd like it. So I'll do that off camera and then I'll show you and play how it sounds once I've done it. Okay. Okie dokie. So I have now tuned up the treble side. So I've done my tremolo tuning reeds and the reeds tuned to A440. So now it sounds like this. So I'm happy with that. I think it sounds nice. So I could just do a little bit of Amelie just to see what that sounds like. We'll put a bit of bass in there as well. So this little accordion, little 32 bass, is coming on really nice. So the next video, I'm going to show you how I'm going to do the tuning on the bass side. And that should be good. So yeah, getting quite close to finishing this one now, so I'm really happy with it, and I think it's going to be a nice accordion for somebody to learn on, or just to play, maybe play in a session, a small portable accordion. Yeah, so just hoping that when it's finished someone can get a lot of joy out of it, which is kind of the main reason for doing it really. Okay, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.